The challenge, the opportunity to connect. The 1960s, a time of imagination and change, a time of anger and fear. The 1960s, a program called Challenge.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Looked at our connections, our divisions, through the lens of faith. Nearly 60 years later, during these challenging times, we'll take a new look at our divisions, our connections, in a new program called Challenge 2.0. It has been called a day of rage, hate, violence, and death. The August 11th Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, was organized by a collection of white supremacists and white nationalists, marching on the University of Virginia campus bearing flaming torches and chanting, "Blood and soil." It turned deadly when a car driven by one white supremacist plowed into a crowd of counter-protesters. One woman died. More than a dozen others were hospitalized. While the reaction, "This isn't who we are," was common, some prominent Christian leaders were either muted in their reaction or unapologetic. The focus of this Challenge 2.0 then is untangling white nationalism and Christianity.
Yeah, and beyond the dehumanizing, what you've spoken of in terms of genocide, this understanding and ideology creates a violence that makes murder permissive. It's beyond dehumanizing. Our bodies are absolutely on the line in this conversation. And so that's another reason that makes this conversation so timely. Because on some hand, it's sort of like, well, you know, no one's burning crosses on your lawn. You know, no one's, doing these outwardly or overt racist things to you, Kelly. But indeed, the microaggressions are the weight of those types of aggression. And I think there's violence implicit in the very environment and climate of this country to the point that every person of color should be able to claim PTSD.
One of the things I was reading was that people that have met a Muslim have a positive view of Islam and Muslims, and people that have not met a Muslim, they're much more likely to have a negative view. And what that tells you is we just need to meet people. We just need to have that face-to-face interaction.
Also, as a pastor, I've uncovered sexual misconduct in 4 different churches. And so this topic's really important to me and how it impacts and affects so many people.
I think it's especially important that religious organizations and religious leaders speak up and invite introspection within their own institutions, because religion and power abuse within a religious context has been a cornerstone of what's enabled this abuse to happen towards such a huge percentage of the population for so long. I can say me too, so can most women. And so part of this is also about truth-telling, that the experience of a large piece of our population, their human experience, hasn't been acknowledged, and that as faith leaders, we need to open up that truth.
Yeah, I think we also need a different vision for what it means to be a man. And that's a long conversation, but I think so many men believe or have bought into the notion that to be a man is to have power over others. And I would say that we've got to deal with that. Men need to lift up a different vision that what it means to be a man is to have power with others in the healing and creation of the world. And that giving our life in service of that is what makes us men, is what makes us human beings.
And I feel that with the points that you've articulated, we're going to take at least a few steps toward that for the people that are watching. I'd like to thank each of you for being a part of this program. I hope you'll join us again, and I'd like to thank all of you for joining us on this Challenge 2.0.